All right, welcome into Thursday's edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com, as you can get in touch with Nick Richard, Lee Carney, and the crew if you're looking to get into a brand new Chevrolet, pre-owned or certified Chevy. They got great selections out in Laplace, Louisiana. Crew's in. Nikki's here, Lloyd's here, Rivs is here. Coffee provided every day by Metropolitan Health Group. Remember, Charles Harvey, Jason Ramazan, Real Doctors, Real Solutions. LSU basketball rolls past the Bulldogs last night in the Hump as Darius Days back in action. He was a game-time decision and had to have him.
Turned out to be a good one.
Junior was two juniors with double-doubles last night. As Javonte Smart with a double-double and Darius Days. We'll talk all about it. Looks like Tom Brady had too much avocado tequila.
It's great.
Yesterday at the victory parade for the Tampa Bay Bucks. How about throwing the Lombardi?
Bro, when you got six more in the trunk, does it matter?
What a ballsy move by Brady, letting it go, letting it fly yesterday at the victory parade, which looked fantastic in Tampa as they were celebrating the latest Lombardi trophy. Devin White gets a victory lap in Raymond James Stadium on his horse. He is now circled both tracks, his college home football field and now his professional home football field. Living a country boy's dream. Lots to get to. Roman Banks, who is the Southern Athletics Director. We have invited him out to the undisclosed location. He has confirmed that he will be here at 8:30 this morning. Cody Worsham, Digital Director from LSU Sports, going to make his debut in the UDL this morning. He'll be here at 7:30 this morning. And then Megan Makin Money will be here at 8 a.m. as she will give her recap of the Super Bowl. She also has a terrible date story that she said yesterday she wants to share with our audience. Is the Johnson Spillers giveaway was a success as Dr. Johnson and Dr. Spillers over there at Johnson Spillers Dentistry handed away some Botox and teeth cleaning for a lucky winner. Who was our winner? Okay.
Hit him with it? Wait, I just don't want to say his name wrong.
Elias.
Oh, that's right.
A little update on Elias.
Elias.
He tweeted in that he went on several more dates with the girl. Okay. So it wasn't a bad thing necessarily.
Turned out just to be a little icebreaker.
Yeah, but he said having to tell her dad what happened was he still gets goosebumps thinking about it today.
Kind of like Miss Dilwad and Mr. Dilwad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Their first date horror story turned out to be they ended up cutting the cake. So it's not all bad.
It's not all bad. Sometimes bad dates are good because then you look back and you laugh, you know?
Appreciate everybody's interaction. See you inside of the Copacabana. Is that where
That's
we're going?
The Copa?
Yeah.
I think we...
The Copacabana. Yeah, so we're going to call it the Copa. If you're inside the chat, we're going to have a little Italian twist to the chat, and we'll call it the Copa.
Yep, and we got wise guys up in here.
And we'll call the wise guys, the people that interact with us via YouTube or Facebook. We are monitoring Facebook as well. We're on Facebook every morning here on the Jordy Culotta Show. What was everybody's thoughts of Brady yesterday? What was the most? What was the image that will live with you? Was it him throwing the Lombardi over moving water, or was it him being carried out of the victory parade with wobbly legs that he was obviously very intoxicated?
I don't know. I mean, the wobbly legs thing doesn't get me. It's very polarizing. If you're on the internet, it's very polarizing. People are either like, yeah, Tom Brady, or they're like, my son looks up to you. What is he going to do now? Like, all right, lady, calm down.
Seven Super Bowls later.
Right. I mean, he probably had one drink. Like, let's imagine. he in his life, I doubt alcohol is a big part of the TB12 program,
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So he probably has one margarita. He's throwing the trophy. He just needs a little help. I mean, you might need a little help coming off the boat.
For sure.
We heard your story about how you feel on the sea.
Yes.
Maybe it was a combination.
And let me tell you, it looked a little choppy out there.
I mean,
I probably would have been puking. But
I don't mind. I actually kind of love the wobbly walk off of the boat. I mean, I think the trophy thing is the one that's going to live forever because whether he's got 7 or not, you're throwing the trophy.
Still a Lombardi trophy.
Over the water.
So one thing you can tell when he's walking out and he's got the wobbly legs, he's wasted.
Oh, yeah.
Like he is.
It had a good time.
Smashed.
I do have a little bone to pick with the guy helping him walk.
Did we ever get an ID on who this is?
No. I mean, I think somebody said it was just like a security guard.
Staffer.
But this is my deal with him.
He's helping a lot.
Yes.
But this is my deal with him. There other ways he could have held him.
I agree.
That were a little more
Kinda just
conspicuous.
like
just to throw your arm
and
around
even like
him.
when you see the cameras on that side, put him on the other side.
Yeah, like,
right? Like, kinda walk him
wave,
out.
do a thing. You know, like
TB12.
yeah, you're making him. I think that guy made him look probably more drunk than he was.
Agreed. But by the way,
he was still drunk.
By the way he was holding him, he must have been smacked because he's got the 2-arm hold. Like,
He's
steering
don't
him.
go anywhere.
Well,
like, hold it tight, bro. Hold
There's also a
it
video
tight.
of him holding his daughter, and he throws up the classic mom peace sign, like the drunk mom. Like, I don't know what I do with my hands.
Do you hear Viv in the background when he's throwing the trophy?
She's like,
She's like, no, Dad. And Gronk steps
if your
up and
8-year-old
just
is
snags
telling,
that thing.
no, it's not Gronk.
It's
It's
is it?
Cameron.
Cameron
Brady?
Brady. They both. I mean,
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
of the litter
Yeah,
there.
right.
Gronk was
Couple
too
of
busy.
meaties.
Gronk was too busy dancing.
Yes.
Every video I saw of him, he's dancing. At one point, he tells a reporter they're going to need to bring an ambulance to get him out of here. Like, come on, Gronk, what are we doing here?
Brady's tweet was fantastic too yesterday.
And then LeBron's response to him.
I mean, he quoted ESPN's tweet of Tom Brady on land after the Bucks parade, and Brady quote tweets and says, "Nothing to see here. ... Just a little avocado tequila."
But the way he spells it, it's like he spells it like a drunk person would type it out.
It does. It's LIT in lowercase and then a capital letter TLE on the avocado.
Nothing to see here. And then LeBron, I guess, is like, man, I wish that we could have had our parade. I would have had those wobbly legs too. You know, like, you got to laugh at it.
It's a human moment for Tom Brady.
For
man. Good
sure.
for
Like,
him.
let that man relax for a second.
Absolutely. Good for him as Brady and the Bucks celebrate his latest Super Bowl trophy. Devin White was a part of the celebration yesterday. He was also in Raymond James Stadium taking a spin around the field on his horse, which for Devin White, he called the day that he spent on Daisy May in Tiger Stadium the best day of his life. I can't imagine what yesterday was like. Now, I know Daisy May has since passed, and it's a new horse. I believe it's Star. I forget the name.
I don't know
of
the
it.
new
Yeah.
horse's name.
Daisy May forever.
But that was a cool moment for a Louisiana native and LSU proud linebacker in Devin White.
Whitney Bro makes a good point in the Copa. Our wise guy, Whitney Bro. Avocado tequila makers getting a stock bump
Yes,
today.
they are.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think Tom Brady is invested in an avocado tequila?
I would think so.
Like, that was a very specific
'Cause of the
tequila
way that
to,
he
like,
said it.
throw
Yeah.
out.
But I mean, like, isn't TB12 built all around like avocado? Like, and then he like
I think
avocado
he's just
ice
vegan.
cream. And
I don't know. I think
It's
he's
the
just vegan.
superfood, yeah, that's
yeah.
his-
So
that's
like
his
you
little
can eat
cheat.
avocados on that. That's how you can turn like avocados into chocolate pudding and like all sorts of different stuff. So maybe that he's just a big avocado guy.
Rivs. LSU got a new linebacker.
Who?
Mike Jones, former 4-star prospect, IMG Academy, played 10 games for Clemson in 2020, recorded 30 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, had 2 picks and forced a fumble.
Never gonna get tired of telling that joke.
No, we never
Like,
will.
and I know that people are like, we get it, Rivs.
Yeah,
You were in
but-
college in the early 2000s, but like, who?
Mike Jones. I just want to, I want to cut the phone number every time that we say his name.
Yeah, no way. We can't get in trouble for that.
I mean, like, no way you can pick that up.
Mike's not gonna take us down.
No way. Jones will count towards the 2021 recruiting class, leaving the Tigers one remaining spot. So he's from Tennessee. He'll be eligible to play immediately in this upcoming season. So you've seen in the last 2 days, after LSU signed 23 in the 2021 recruiting period, they back it up with the state's top wide receiver, or one of the state's top wide receiver and players, in Brian Thomas, who commits on Wednesday. And then Ogeron, who has said out loud that he is looking in the transfer portal for linebackers and offensive linemen, gets another linebacker into the fold with Mike Jones, who will be transferring for Clemson. It really is. So LSU gets another one. They get another linebacker, and they will. We've seen this before. We've seen LSU maybe be a little underwhelming during the recruiting signing period, and then be able to really clean up in the transfer portal and getting guys to transfer in. I mean, they have been transfer U, graduate transfer U has been LSU as far as going out and getting needs. I mean, even last year with a guy like Liam Shanahan. People don't want to hear this. A guy from Harvard, but he played every snap. I mean, you had to have him. They begged him to come back. They want him as an anchor on this piece of this offensive line. So that's one guy that they got. Joe Burrow's always going to be the example. Cole Tracy is another one. But, I mean, you've had guys that have come in and really they have pinpointed a need. They have pinpointed someone in personnel that they want to go after and find for a certain position, and they've been fantastic at that. I mean, they've been able to get out and get these guys as good as anybody that I've seen. I mean, as far as areas of need that they need on the roster.
And I think this is the way that they're going to do it in the future. They're going to save 1 or 2 spots every recruiting cycle just in case, because those plug and play guys are nice to find.
Absolutely. And when you have the ability in the transfer portal to get upperclassmen as well, I mean, a lot of those guys are ready to come in and play. I mean, think of Terrence Newman a couple of years ago. I mean, he's not the Burrow, he's not the Cole Tracy, he's not even the Liam Shanahan, but he came in and played a need. I mean, remember in that 7 overtime game against Texas A&M, he was making a couple of plays, and he had played throughout that season. So they have really been able to get out and clean up on this part of recruiting. I mean, they have kind of made a mark of being pretty dominant within this square and within this corner of recruiting. And Mike Jones is the latest, the former 4-star prospect who spent last season and played 10 games at Clemson. Will count towards the 2021 class and be eligible to play immediately. Daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. You can always check out our the brand new selection online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Lee Carney and Nick Richard have great experience within the automotive industry. They have now started their own dealership down in Laplace, Louisiana. They're online at GoChevrolet.com, but a convenient drive, whether you're coming from New Orleans, going to New Orleans from Baton Rouge, right off the Laplace exit, as you can get to Airline Highway, and they're right there at Go Chevrolet. Stop in and see the familiar faces of Nick Richard, Lee Carney, Michael Divinity, and the crew over at Go Chevy. We will talk about LSU basketball as the Tigers shoot lights out last night in a 94-80 win, get a key figure back in Darius Days, and he is a immediate impact player. We'll talk all about it coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented daily by Go Chevrolet. The Jordy Culotta Show is powered every day by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com, located in Laplace, Louisiana, with the greatest selections of new and used Chevrolet vehicle inventory. Over in Laplace at Go Chevrolet, they have the latest models in stock. They provide financial assistance to both new and used car customers. Stop in today. It's a convenient stop, whether you're going to New Orleans or coming from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. Stop in and see Lee Carney and Nick Richard at Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. If you have water, mold, or fire damage, you need to get in touch with Advana Clean today. I tell the story all the time. On Christmas Day, I woke up with what I thought was water damage in a room. I gave my friend Bradley Lynch a call at 225-369-5228. And on Christmas Day, 20 minutes later, Bradley was at the house diagnosing the problem, and he was back with his team to clean it up. Find out for yourself online at AdvanaClean.com.
That's at AdvanaClean.com. ADVANTA clean.com.
Johnson and Spillers Dentistry with 2 locations, one in Gonzales and one in Baton Rouge. Stop in to see them today. They provide the highest quality of dental treatment in a relaxed and professional atmosphere. They also offer Botox and teeth whitening. 2 locations, Baton Rouge and Gonzales, online at johnsonspillers.com. Lanois Agency, online at LANOIXagency.com, helping you today with Baton Rouge auto insurance, home insurance, flood insurance, or business insurance. Get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David, 749-5640, or you can shop them online at LANOIXagency.com. This is a personal testimony from me. They handle all of my insurance, whether it's my home, auto, flood insurance, business insurance. They're the best, man. They're my insurance agent, but they're my friends first. Online at LANOIXagency.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Talking a little LSU basketball. Tigers roll last night past Mississippi State. LSU shoots it tremendous. We mentioned a couple of players back in action for LSU. Cody Worsham going to be here in a couple of minutes. Always like talking basketball with Worsham, as he'll be here from LSU Digital Reporting. Get his thoughts on this team. Josh Gray with some action last night. We mentioned that Coach Wade said here on the Jordy Culotta Show 2 days ago that he was going to.
Whoa, that was a weird music drop there. Wow, wow, wow.
Little
Very synthy. I like it.
The song's named Randy Butternuts.
I don't think your mic's on, Lloyd.
There we go. So the song, it's called Randy Butternuts.
Butternut?
The song.
I like
So
that.
something can happen
I'm
there.
super into 80 Cent though, so this is kind of like
Stranger
in my
Things
wheelhouse.
vibe.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to Cody Worsham coming up here in a couple of minutes. Roman Banks will stop by at 8:30 this morning. Megan Makin Money will be here at 8 a.m. But LSU basketball last night, 94-80 winners. Darius Days highlighted as he was in action for LSU. He was a game time decision after sustaining an ankle injury last time out. Days was back from the ankle injury, and with that, he gave a double-double with his performance. Javonte Smart had 22 and 11. LSU's 22 assists on the night was a conference high for them. Smart was
So
8
many
of
birds.
10 from field. I love it, man. It's
great.
I love it.
It's like they're in this room with us.
We should also almost open the door.
I mean, at this point, it's like,
We're
what are we
getting there.
doing?
3 days in a row we've asked.
Cameron Thomas led LSU with his fourth straight 20-point game. This time he had 25. He was 9 of 16 from the field with 3 3-pointers. Got to the line 5 times. Trendon Watford was back in double figures as he had 14 points. Next up, a huge one for LSU basketball as they will face Tennessee at the PMAC at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Remember, you can catch that. We're good. So LSU gets back on track last night, 94-80. And they've got a huge game coming up versus Tennessee. What'd you make of it, Riz? Did you watching it?
Yeah, I did. Like a real idiot Mississippi State fan, I started watching the game and we were doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, maybe they do that to you. And then they just stop playing. I think I stopped watching maybe at halftime. The one thing I did like, Abdul Adu, who plays for us,
Yes.
like a 70% free throw shooter,
Yeah.
which, you know,
So that's a easy way to your heart.
easy way to my heart. And he made both that I watched. But he also only averages like 5 points a game. So, whatever. But that was the one takeaway I brought. I was like, that guy can shoot free throws. And I really love that.
Well-
and then we started losing and then we just never could like catch back up. Like we stayed in for a little while where I was like, oh, we're a couple points, you know, like we stayed within a range that made me feel comfortable. And then,
Well, I thought LSU was going to let him back in it with the technical fouls in the
yeah.
second half.
And I think somebody just commented, I think LSU just got another technical foul.
I mean, amazing. I think they got 3 in
Got
the
one
second
for raising the
half.
roof.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Go, what are you doing at Tiger Woods? Holler at your boy.
Yeah, that was Josh LeBlanc that they gave that one to. I think they actually called him for a delay of game where they thought he like moved the ball after it came through the net.
He was moving the roof.
They gave one to the bench. They gave one to Watford. Game kept kind of going back and forth. What's up?
Old wise guy, Don Fusilier. I actually said that correctly. Who is
Fusilier.
this woman? Why is a Mississippi State grad on an LSU show? I don't get it.
Don.
Well, Don, let me explain
man's
something
man.
to you. When you graduate from college, typically, sometimes, not always, but typically you move away from that city and you get a job doing something else. And I landed in Baton Rouge, you know? So here I am. I mean, like, it's not like I'm in here talking about Mississippi State all the time. Let me talk about my 70% free throw shooter, and then you guys can talk about LSU for the rest of
is
the
this?
day.
The first time you've recounted Mississippi State, man.
A woman.
So good.
Oh, good Lord.
If you have a question for Cody Worsham, get inside. We'll talk some LSU basketball coming up. I am intrigued to see this game on Saturday versus Tennessee. Tennessee comes in here. They've been a little bit of a roller coaster team. Seen them play really, really high. Seen them play down to competition at times. But if they are right, when they are right, and they are out and running, and they are athletic, they look as good as anybody in the conference, at least. I mean, I think Gonzaga and Baylor are the class of college basketball. But Tennessee seems to be the class of the SEC. So if LSU can get back on track, if LSU could get a get-right win to start moving them and flip this thing into the right direction, Saturday would be it. It's a hell of a task. It's a hell of a challenge. But if they can play like they did last night, specifically with the rebounds, I thought that the 11 rebounds that Darius Days gave was more impressive than 16 points. And if they can have a mindset and an effort to get to the glass and be able to attack there, they will give themselves a chance. I'm anxious to hear about what the status is of Sharif for Saturday. I think you have to have, and I don't think you have to have all hands on deck.
How's Tennessee looking?
They're great. I mean, they're
hitting their stride.
Yes,
too.
they are.
Yeah.
They are. They're hitting their stride. And it's, you get them at home. You don't have the home court advantage like you did a couple of years ago. That was an electric environment when Tennessee came in. That was when Dick Vitale was here.
Yep.
And Javonte, that was kind of his coming out party as a freshman.
That was such a good game.
It was a great game.
And we all keep holding on to that little Javonte, when you saw like that's what
I thought
he
he was
can
good
be.
last
But
night,
he's getting
bro.
there. He's getting there again.
I thought he was great last night.
Yes.
I mean, he had 22 and 11. The assist that he made to Cam.
The
down
touch
low,
passes.
The touch. Yeah, I mean, he was moving the ball. He was playing on. When he's like that, Javonte was as guilty as anybody, in my opinion, for the mentality of we've got to get mine. I'm getting mine. I think Watford fell into that mold. I think Javonte fell into that mold. Even Darius to a degree, and those are the three guys that had experimented and talked to the NBA in the offseason. But when Javonte's playing unselfish, he's sharing, he can get you 20 and 11, 22 and 11. I know that's not the stat line that you can get from him every night, but I mean, when he's playing that type of mindset, when he's playing with that unselfish nature, he makes everybody around him better. That's why I've been saying that Trendon is playing out of position. Trendon is playing out of position as because he's got the ball in his hand too much.
Yeah.
I mean, he's distributing. He's the one bringing it up. Javonte in his natural position. That's him. That's who he is. That's who he was at Scotlandville. That's who he was in Team USA. That's who he was. You can step in. Just
mask up.
No camera.
But don't look at
No
anything.
Camera. No camera. As our next guest, Cody Worsham, will be stepping in the chair here in a couple of minutes.
The struggle is real for Javonte's hairline.
It is.
I do feel it for his hairline.
But I don't.
What do you
I hate
do?
to see
What do
college.
you do?
It hurts me
Is
as
he-
a 30-year-old
is he trolling us,
person
though?
looking at a college guy who's losing his hair.
Is he trolling us?
By just
By
erasing
losing
it?
his hair?
No, by
but-
continuing to cut it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you just take the razor? I mean, I guess I'm not the one to ask because I could probably be in this demographic as
Are
well.
you
Why don't
trolling
just
us,
take it to the
Jordy?
one? Yeah, right. I might be trolling you, right? I mean, look at this spot right here. I mean, that's a lot of landscape. But Javonte's is more here.
He just riding the wave, dude.
Yeah, bro. I mean, put that thing back. Put it on the one, man. It kind of feels like Jerry Rice with the cornrows late in his career. You're like, whoa, bro, just cut it.
What are we doing here? What are we
Just
doing?
cut it. All right, so we're going to talk LSU basketball with one of our favorites. Cody Worsham is going to be at the Undisclosed Location. Let's take a break, and we want to get his thoughts on the new hires with LSU football, LSU baseball season right around the corner. It'll be good to get back to the box here on February 19th and watch LSU baseball play. But LSU basketball with an enormous game on Saturday in Baton Rouge versus the Volunteers, coming off of a really nice performance last night at the Hump in Starkville. So we'll talk all about it with Cody coming up here next on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, when we talk LSU basketball here, it is always brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Phil's Oyster Bar is located in the Southdown Shopping Center right there on Perkins Road, a staple of our city. Go see Anthony Piazza. His dad, Gus, started Phil's Oyster Bar a long time ago. They got the best oysters in town. We were there a couple of days ago. Always the great lunch special. Stop in and see Phil's and tell him you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. More LSU basketball talk with Cody Worsham next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. When you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, you shouldn't have to settle for the same old medical treatment. You got a choice, and the choice is simple. Choose Metropolitan Health Group for all your personal injury needs, real doctors and real solutions to help you get back on the road to recovery. Metropolitan Health Group. The next time you're in the market for a custom home, remember Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders.com. If you want testimonies or pictures of the fantastic work, Check them out online or on social media. Their handle is at RMB Builders LLC. They're licensed for both commercial and residential construction, offering new construction and remodeling to Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. Remember RMB Builders online at rmb-builders.com.
Hey, this is Katie with the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate everyone's support. If you want in, email me at katie@jordyculottashow.com.
Go Chevrolet. Lee Carney and Nick Richard opened up their new dealership on Airline Highway in LaPlace, Louisiana, and they bring you the Jordy Culotta Show every single day. Stop in and see Lee and Nick today in LaPlace, Louisiana when you're looking for a brand new Chevrolet or used car inventory. You can shop it all online at GEAUX.Chevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet, Airline Highway in LaPlace. Make sure and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We're there. Daily brought to you by RMB Builders. Shout out to Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. RMB-Builders.com. Get to the Jordy Culotta Show podcast. Daily brought to you by RMB Builders.
Remember to follow the Jordy Culotta Show on social media. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Culotta Show and on Facebook, facebook.com/Culotta Show.
All right, welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show here live on YouTube, presented by Go Chevrolet. Remember, stop in and check out our podcast every day that is brought to you by RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew, 921-7062. Custom-made homes. He can also help you with remodeling, also commercially licensed, and can help you with commercial construction as well. Stop in and see RMB Builders. All right, our next guest is a great friend of ours. He is over at LSU Digital. He can talk LSU basketball. Yes, walk him in. Walk him in. Yes.
There we go.
Wow. Okay.
Taking a little liberty there.
Okay. All right. Initiated. Good to see you, brother.
How we doing?
Thank you for
I like the setup.
for stopping by here at the Undisclosed Location. Thank you. We're going in on show 14 today, so it's been a hell of a ride. Cody Worsham from LSU Digital joining us here at the Undisclosed Location. There's a lot to get to, I feel like, with you that we could talk about. Super Bowl champs, Tigers, LSU
Got
football,
a few of those.
Making some hires, LSU baseball right around the corner. But LSU basketball, let's start there last night. Darius Days comes back, gives you 16 and 11. The 11 boards I thought more impressive than the 16 points. Javante has 22 and 11, and they go into the Hump last night and beat Mississippi State. How much did they need that win?
Yeah, they needed it, Jordy. They were, you lose 4 out of 5, and then you get a week off, and it can be a turning point. It can go either way from there. And so to build that momentum back to where they need to get was huge. And then I think, the other thing is you get a week off and Days gets healthy. And I think we all saw last night, like Days, you mentioned it, the 16, the 11, whatever. He makes everyone better when he's on the floor. He gives so much more spacing. He gives you extra possessions with his rebounding. He's more versatile defensively than the guys that back him up. So he's a difference maker and just makes life easier on everybody, creates so much space. And then Javante kind of played the perfect point guard game last night. So they needed that. They still have some things they've got to fix and shore up. But, look, you do that as part of the process, and you'd rather be fixing those things as you're winning and getting ready for the tournament. It may have been a quad 1 win. I hadn't checked.
Yeah.
I think Mississippi State may have been top 75. They may fall out after that loss, but need some quality wins, need some quad 1s, and so it was a good start.
11-10 now Mississippi State on the season after last night's loss. Tigers moved to 12-6 and 7-4 in conference play. People have been tough on Trendon Watford here lately. He played better last night, had 14 points, 3 assists, only 2 turnovers, which I thought was the positive number. What have you made of his play, and what do you need from him down the stretch for LSU to be their best?
I thought last night you could see a little more intent when he was putting the ball on the ground early, on the floor early. He's been a little bit he's so cool, right? He's so cool and fluid that the danger is that he can default into this lackadaisical style. I thought he looked like he had a fire under him last night, especially early. And it wasn't perfect. He missed some shots. I think he still settles for the floaters a little bit too much, but he can get that anytime he wants to. But I thought you saw a little more energy, a little more zest there from him. I still want a little bit more of that and maintaining it, especially on the glass. I think he only had 1 or 2 rebounds. Now, when Days is scooping up everything, that kind of makes it hard for you to get your rebounds. But if he can continue to push there, I think he's if Days is the most important player, the X factor, I think Watford's kind of the guy that's going to swing where LSU goes. If he plays really well down the stretch, they're going to be really good. If he struggles, they're going to be a little bit easier to beat. So he's sort of the bellwether in that case, and we'll see how he does. But I thought last night was a step in the right direction.
Changing the starting lineup last night, Andre Hyatt back in there.
Yeah, it was forced, right? Because Moani was out.
Yeah.
Hyatt, I love Hyatt.
Me too.
I love, I think he had 7 points.
Yeah.
He's just got a good feel for the game.
Mm-hmm.
In that stretch, I thought the stretch to start the second half was the most important.
Yep.
He hits the 3 to start it. He got another
Backdoor
layup.
cut.
The backdoor cut was the play to me. I don't know that anyone else on the team makes that cut.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just got the feel for the game. He makes good decisions with the ball. He helps move the ball. That was the biggest thing for them last night. They moved the ball, and this offense scores at will. They can score against anyone they want to. They can score however they want to, but they become less dynamic when it's sticky and it's a lot of one-on-one. But I think Cam Thomas had 4 assists. Javonte had 11. Watford had 3 or 4. So they were moving the ball, and that's when they go from a really good offense that's hard to stop to a great offense it's basically impossible to stop. And Hyatt he's a big part of that. He moves the ball well. He can give you the spacing from 3 that maybe some of the alternatives can't. And he's a veteran. He's smart. He's in the right place defensively. I liked what he brought last night.
You are a hoop head. You love the game and have been around it for so long. You played it at Nichols. You played it in college. Played it in high school, and played it in pickup when you got out of it. What do you make of Cam Thomas? What do you make of his game? Is he last night 25, 39 minutes, 9 of 16 from the field, 3 of 7 from behind the arc? What do you overall think of Cam, the player, and kind of what he gives LSU?
I think he's still feeling it out at this level, and I thought last night was maybe the best game he had from a shot selection perspective. He's a guy that he works so hard, he's so skilled, he's so crafty, that Will Wade is right to give him that green light, that ultimate green light. There just aren't that many guys that can score at that level and the ability that he has. But even with that, there is a freshman learning curve. And so he's been at Oak Hill and playing against some of the best competition in the country, but he's still been able to score basically at will whenever he wants to. And he kind of started that way this season. First 4 or 5 games, he was unstoppable. He was, hitting 3 or 4 threes a game. He was getting 30 a game. And then defenses started adjusting to him and making life tougher on him and saying, okay, we're going to let you have the step back 3 contested. We're going to let you put it on the floor going this way, not that way. And so he was still trying to get those 20 to 25 shots that he's got the green light for, but they weren't the 20 to 25 shots that were best for his game. And I think, especially last night, you saw a lot more ball movement from him, a lot of shots that he could have taken that he made the extra pass. And what that does for a scorer is it takes the pressure off of you. When Days is out there spacing, when Javonte's playing as well as he does, you're going to get better looks. So the 16 that he got last night from a quality shot perspective, probably the best 16 he's had all year. Mm-hmm. And then he still got to the free throw line. He still hit some tough ones. He hit the tough one late off the bounce at the end of the shot clock that only he can make. He hit the mid-range Kobe shot earlier where he kind of faked one way, went the other way. I mean, that's the levels to his game that no one else has, especially at the SEC. And so as he improves his shot selection and relies on his teammates and kind of fits into the flow better, he then becomes more efficient. I thought last night was he should watch that film last night on repeat all week just to continue to absorb how good his shot selection was and to build that moving forward.
Josh Gray gave him 6 minutes last night. Was that because of the roster limitations, or you think that he gets some minutes here down the stretch?
It was probably because of the roster limitations, but I think there's a spot for him, especially Mississippi State. They had the two big guys, Tolu Smith and the other big, and the way Mississippi State beats you is they crash the offensive glass and they get stops on the other end. And so him being out there, it changes what they can do defensively. They can't do the switching man-to-man that they've kind of built their identity around, but they can put in that zone that they used last night where they actually kind of invert the wings and the guards. They put the guards
long.
Yeah, and so think about that. If you're a guard, every zone offense, when you come up and you see a 2-3, you've got a point guard at the top and two shooters on the wing, right? And LSU inverted their zone, so they pulled Watford up and they pulled Days up and they pulled two big long guys up to the top, put Gray in the middle, and then two guards in the corners. And so it took away that comfort that when you're in a zone offense of where you normally operate from. The offense probably should have done the same thing in an invert, but then you've got bigs at the top handling the ball. And so you could tell Mississippi State was really uncomfortable with it. I don't know how many turnovers they had, 20 plus, and a lot of it was just there's so much length at the top of that zone that they had trouble navigating it. And I thought that was a really good tactical move from Will Wade and allows you to get a Josh Gray on the floor.
Yeah, LSU won the turnover stat last night, 15-7, 15 for Mississippi State as LSU only turned it over 7 times. We love Eric Gaines over here, 13 minutes. I love the spark that he gives LSU when he comes off the bench, specifically on the defensive side, because of the way that he's able to keep people in front of him. What do you think of this freshman?
Love his game. I think Will has repeatedly said he's got the best defensive leverage on the team. Mm-hmm. And when LSU was struggling last night defensively, it was containing the ball. And that tends to be one of their issues is giving up middle penetration, getting beat to the middle of the floor and kind of getting picked apart from there. But he doesn't get beat. He's going to stay in front of you. He's going to be active with his hands. He had a couple deflections, a couple of little back taps, which are always nice little bonus possessions for the defense. And then his passing. I mean, he's a great passer. He made 2 or 3 last night that were just, that little one-handed pass in transition that I kind of saw it on the screen. I was like, there's a pass there. I don't think he can make it, but it's there. And then he because of the angle, he just kind of whipped it back behind his shoulder and got low enough to throw it, almost like a Patrick Mahomes like quarterback pass, right? And he found the angle and it got there and they made the layup. So he's got a great feel for the game. I think he's gonna be a really good player. Once his shot becomes more consistent and he gets some confidence in the game, and he's a 30+% shooter from 3. He's going to be a guy that, by his junior, senior year here, people are really watching in the SEC because of what he brings to the table. He's got a lot of stuff you can't teach, the athleticism, the feel for the game. He's still got to put on some muscle and develop his skills a little bit, but I think he's a great third guard, fourth guard. Just throw him in there. He gives you some energy. He can give Javonte rest, which I don't think Javonte even came out of the game last night. But if you need him to give Javonte rest, he can. I love everything he brings to the table.
Yeah, Javonte Smart, 40 minutes last night. LSU's next opponent, Tennessee, beat Georgia last night, 89-81. They have a freshman on that squad, Jaden Springer. He had 30 points, most by a Tennessee freshman since Grant Williams did that back in 2017. It looks like they're hitting their stride. They feel like the class of the conference this year at 14-4 and 7-4 overall in league play. What do you make of the next challenge on Saturday?
Yeah, Tennessee, I don't know much about their individual personnel. I've kind of looked at some of their bigger numbers. Best defensive team in the country, efficiency-wise. So that'll be a fun matchup, right? LSU's top 5, top 10 offense. Tennessee's a best defense, so that'll be intriguing. I was watching them last night. They've got a lot of versatile, big size. Fulkerson's big. The left-handed kid, I think number 5, is big. Can put it on the floor. Can get to the rim. Can rebound. So they've got a lot of good versatile size. Not like kind of Mississippi State had the 6'10", the 7-footer, and they try to pound you in the paint. They're more 6'8" to 6'10", can move, can switch on defense if they need to. They pose a lot of problems. So this is gonna be a tough one for LSU. But I think it's gonna come down to that. It's gonna be LSU's offense, Tennessee's defense, because I think Tennessee's good offensively. I mean, they scored 88 last night, 89. They can do a bunch of things offensively, but yeah, I think that's what it's going to boil down to is can LSU get enough stops and then kind of keep pace and do what they do offensively. If they play like they did last night, they're not going to shoot 60% every night. But
I'm with you.
But they're going to score a bunch of points.
Chance.
Yeah,
they give themselves a chance if they defend like they did last night and they can shoot it and get good shot selection. right?
Yeah.
I thought that was the difference last night, is that they took good shots.
Yeah, like I said, the ball was moving. It wasn't sticky. And it's demoralizing for a defense when the ball it moves. And Javante's at his best when he's going to the goal, right? Like I think he only took 3 threes last night, and he can hit the step back three. We know he can, but he's at his best when he's going downhill and putting pressure on the defense, getting to the rim, because he does that 2 or 3 times, and then they collapse, and then passing lanes open everywhere. So I thought he was the key cog last night. I thought he played the perfect point guard game, and
I thought so too.
And that's been something with Javante in his career. He's been a great scoring guard at times. He's been a great point guard at times, but putting them together has been tough, which it's tough for anybody. It's the hardest part. He was the perfect balance last night of picking his spots offensively for himself, but also he made 2 or 3 passes last night that just little skip passes. He threw one from under the rim to Watford at the top of the key. I mean, just
the back cut to Hyatt.
Yeah,
pass.
The back cut to Hyatt. He had one in transition too, where he kind of no looked it. I mean, he played a perfect point guard game last night, and he's not going to play that well every night. If he did, he'd be a first team All-American. But he can get to 80%, 90% of that level and really drive this team.
Do you think it's Gonzaga, Baylor, and everybody else in the game this year?
Yeah, I've done a bad job of paying attention to the national landscape. Mm-hmm. Big picture, yeah, that's kind of the cream of the crop. It's so weird when you look at the way that I kind of keep up with a lot of this stuff is looking at Ken Pom, and you don't see the Dukes, you don't see the Kentuckys, you don't see even Kansas has dropped out. Did you see that stat? It was like the first time since 1962 or something that Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, North UNC, none of them ranked in the top 25.
That's
so it's
crazy, right?
It's weird how it's switched, and I wonder if that's a one-time post-COVID thing, or if that's a trend of where things are going. I don't know. It's really weird.
They're still recruiting the same players, right? I mean, it still had like the same types of recruiting classes. It just didn't pan out.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing with Gonzaga a lot of experience, Baylor a lot of experience, and so maybe that's a little pivot we're seeing in college basketball, where those teams loaded up on the one and done type of players and just overwhelmed you with their talent. But now, these other teams, LSU fits in this mold too. They're getting the 5-star and then a bunch of 4-stars, and they're trying to keep them around for a couple years. And maybe that type of team is better equipped to deal with that one and done, especially when, it used to be just Kentucky and just Duke were getting that one and done. Well, now they're kind of going everywhere. And so Kentucky's not getting 5 of them. That's what Calipari used to do. You get 5 of them, maybe even 6 or 7 of them, and then just throw the best ones out there. And then there'd be the ones that just didn't make it, and they transfer out after a year or whatever. Well, now he's only getting 1 or 2 of them. And so if that kid doesn't pan out, the other kids really have to pick up the slack. So it'll be I'll be interested to see if it's just a one-time kind of, because I have trouble with every sport right now, just judging COVID, post-COVID. Is this a trend? Is this here to stay? We'll see. I don't know. It could be a little turning point in college basketball, though.
Cody Worsham, he's a digital media reporter over at LSU Sports. He is the host of the Hey Fightin' podcast and also the Boot Up podcast, in talking about LSU basketball. Speaking of a sport that has been hit by COVID, and we'll be curious on how it lasts and what the future looks like for the sport, is college baseball, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't played. They were COVIDed out 3 weeks into the season, nearly missed the entire season. Practice and fall ball has all kind of been mangled up, but now they'll get back onto the diamond versus February 19th versus Air Force. Looks like they got same old story, right? A lot of dudes, but this time it features a lot of arms.
Yeah, I was out there yesterday. They had a little scrimmage, game 0 type atmosphere, and I've been out there a couple times this spring. The arms are really impressive. There's a bunch of them. Hadn't seen much of Jaden Hill and Labus and Marceau yet, because they've kind of been in and out. Not worried about those guys. We know what they can do. Interested to see how Jaden Hill kind of progresses into a starter, but not worried about the talent or any of that stuff. There's more arms there. I was really watching yesterday all the position guys, and to me, this is as deep of a team and as many question marks in a good way that Maneri's had in a long time, because I went out there and Jordan Thompson was, they had the gray team and the pinstripe team. I don't remember which one was which, but one of them was basically your first team. One of them was kind of your backups. And Jordan Thompson, the freshman, was on the backup team, second team, playing third base. Well, he's batting second. He steps up and blasts one over the left center field fence, hits a home run. And, there's just guys all over the place that, maybe he's not starting out. I could see him being the 3-hole hitter by the end of the season. There's just a lot of versatile talent. Dylan Cruz looks really, really good. Mm-hmm. He passes the eyeball test. He may be a guy, I've heard Maneri talk about a little bit, that, is great one game, inconsistent the next, just because he's young. But like you look at him. Maneri said he looks like Mike Trout, and I'm not making that talent comparison, but he does. He looks like that just developed guy that you're like, man, that guy.
What's he doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And you know, he had a double in his first at bat the other day. That, I mean, just first pitch ripped it into left field. He was batting leadoff, gets to second base. I was like, man, if they have that all year, like the guy that can step up, lead off, double, get to second base, and that's you start the inning with the guy. I mean, that's gonna change it. So I think the biggest question mark is the lineup, is the bats. Who's going to be consistent? Who's going to emerge there? But there's so much talent. Like it's kind of like I was talking about with Kentucky. You throw a bunch of talented guys out there, and you see who fits and who sticks, and you can make positions work. Like they've worked Cruz at third. Like he's going to be in the outfield, but they've worked him at third just in case. You just kind of find the 8 or 9 best bats, throw them in there, find a place for them. And I think I know who 3 of them are right now. I don't know who the other 6 are, but there's 15 candidates for those 6 spots.
Yeah.
And there's just so many options. I think, you know, the cream will eventually rise to the top.
Cade Doughty, I mean, he was kind of the headliner last year. You forget about him because he only played like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It seems like he's kind of ready for a breakout type season.
Yeah, I mean, he's looked great all spring when I've been out there. He hits it hard. Playing second base, that was the big question for him last year, was finding a spot defensively. I think he looks more comfortable at second base. So much pop in his bat, and he fits that mold that you mentioned. Because we only saw him a little bit last year, you sort of forget about him. But he might be your 2-hole hitter. He might be your 3-hole hitter. Had a really good couple of at-bats yesterday when I was out there, and just a baseball player. And they've got a lot of that kind of mold of player. You know, you got Doughty, Thompson, Jordan Thompson kind of fits the same mold. Not as big and physically developed, but makes contact, hits it hard. Good defensively, still trying to find a spot. Zach Arnold, same mold. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that we kind of overlooked from last year because he may have played a game before the season shut down because he had a shoulder issue, but big, athletic, hits for, has gap to gap power. There's a lot of that kind of player. If you remember a couple of years ago, there was kind of the complaint that Maneri's just recruiting these like smaller athletic guys and there's no power. I think this team's got some power. I mean, you got Beloso who can hit for power. Thompson belted one yesterday. Cruz is going to hit for power. You got a lot of guys that can hit the ball in the gaps and get you a double, and then you don't have to do the small ball and the bunting and the base stealing. You got guys that can get you 2 free bases to start an inning, and then guys that can drive them home. So, I mean, Maurice Hampton has looked pretty good. He hit a home run the other day.
I saw that.
Got some power and speed there, obviously. So, and he may not even start because you got so much talent in the outfield. Maneri was listing off the left field candidates because they're thinking Cruz and right and starting Gio in center. They had like 9 guys battling for the left field spot, and they all bring something different to the table. Gavin Dugas has hit a bunch of homers in his time at. I mean, there's just so many of that kind of guy that it's going to put a lot of pressure on them to perform. But you got to think 1 or 2 is going to emerge and really carry the lineup.
LSU football has been very active over the last month and a half, bringing in new coaches. They get another recruit yesterday. They bring up a linebacker. They get the state's top recruit and wide receiver. What have you made of the last 6 weeks of LSU football?
It's been good. It's been good. Really going back to the last 2 games of the season, you win your last 2, then you get in the offseason, you make the coaching changes you want to make, and you bring in a top 3 recruiting class. I don't think that you could script it any better than that. Now, there's still a lot to prove, but I was over at football the other day, and they had the depth chart up on the big board they have in that big room, and I was looking, I was like, man, there's some dudes on this team. Mm-hmm. Like, there's some depth. Like, I was looking at, I'm not going to give away any trade secrets here, but I was looking at, like, some of the second stringers, like, man, that guy could start in the SEC. That guy could be a productive player. So there's a lot of that, a lot of depth. That's what happens when you bring out 20 to 22 starters. That's what happens when you bring in a bunch of really talented recruits that can play right away. So I'm excited to see it. Kind of going back to that same mindset. I'm having trouble judging what is because of COVID, what is just a trend. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much of last year was because of COVID. I think a lot of it was. I'm not making excuses for anybody. You want to be better than 5-5, but I think a lot of it was because of COVID and opt-outs and adding on to the attrition that you already have. And so I'm curious to see if that was just kind of a blip on the radar, which I think it may have been. And this year's roster makes me feel a little bit better about that. I feel like this year's roster, kind of like baseball, really, really deep. A lot of guys that can step up and play. A lot of spots, even though you bring back 20 of 22, I think a lot of spots are still up for grabs, and there's going to be a lot of competition. So, and hopefully they can get a full spring in or something close to a full spring and kind of continue to build on that momentum from the end of the season.
best quarterback room since 06?
It's really good. That's one of the that's one of the ones I was looking at. I mean, it sounds like Miles is healthy. I think Coach O said that somewhere in the last couple of days. So that's good. He's been working out and all that stuff. Max has that. He won those last 2 games as your starting quarterback, and we know what he brings to the table. TJ's got so much talent, arm talent, and then you bring in Nussmeier, who I mean, as good a recruit as LSU's had at that position anytime recently. So it's a really good quarterback room. I think the offense is going to continue to go in the direction LSU wants it to, and you bring in Peets and Mangus, and you kind of recreate that 2019 magic. And then, as good as the quarterbacks are, they got a lot of good receivers to throw it to, too. So,
I mean, that recruiting class of receivers.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, combo when you get Hilton and Thomas, and then you bring in some of those other guys, Deion Smith from Mississippi, who
and Neighbors and Besh are players.
Yeah, and Besh could be a receiver, he could be a tight end, he could be a hybrid. He can. I mean, it's a really talented group of pass catchers. Mickey Joseph did a wonderful job with that group, and just locking up the guys in state, bringing in the best guy from Mississippi, who Coach O's already compared to Justin Jefferson, which is a good comparison. I mean, like, I don't want to. Let's not play the comparison game, but let's play the comparison game.
Sure.
You've got the big body receiver in Brian Thomas, right? Terrace Marshall type. You've got the athlete in Hilton, who could be a Jamar Chase type. He's not as built as Jamar, but nobody is. And then Deion Smith is the Justin Jefferson type. There you go. There's the formula. Hey, go find a Joe Burrow. That's not hard to do. So go find another Joe Burrow, and it's 2019 all over again.
Right. The LSU Invitational, Kyle Brandt dubbed it on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. LSU everywhere. Yeah. And not only are they everywhere, they're making plays, it seems like, every time you look up. I felt great for Leonard. I thought Devin White was the best player in the playoffs the last month of the season. And then on the other side, I think Matthews, he's a Hall of Famer. And Clyde, had a great rookie season.
Yeah, and Clyde had a good game too.
Yeah, he did.
I was looking at the Pro Football Focus grades. He was their highest graded offensive player, and probably should have been featured more. I thought, I'm not. Took
them too late to get there.
They really. That's their offense. They tried to do everything through Mahomes, where they couldn't protect him. But Clyde gave him some good stuff. If they would have gone that way earlier, it might have given Patrick more time. But yeah, Devin White was a great example. I thought he deserved a national championship at LSU, just for the way that he, you go back to that 2017 season, the Troy loss, and that's when things really could have spiraled, fallen apart. And then he brings the team together. He's the first guy in there the day after the Troy game. He sets the standard, the expectation, and the team just sort of followed him. And that Florida game he played the next week was remarkable. Really turned the tide for the program. And I thought he deserved credit for the 2019 national championship, even though he wasn't there. I thought he was a huge part of that. So for him to get a Super Bowl ring was great. Fournette's a great story too, because a lot of those guys, you see them drafted in the top 5, top 10 or whatever. They're super talented. They don't work out and they just fade away, right? They just go to some team, they're looking for their carries, they're looking for their stats, they're looking for their contract. And he kind of picked his spot well and said, I can go to Tampa and win there. And went there, accepted his role all season, and then as soon as they needed him in the playoffs, I thought he was the difference maker for them. Brady, whatever. Brady's Brady, and he's the GOAT, but Fournette took that offense to a different level in the playoffs. And we saw it against the Saints. We saw it certainly in the Super Bowl. His pass catching, his physicality in the run game. It's great to see, because that guy is so talented. He could have, slipped up on his ego and fallen into that trap of, man, I'm too good for this, I'm too good for that. But he had some humility to him.
He did.
And went to a place where he could win, and now he's got a ring to show for it. So it's a good lesson for young players. Find the spot that's right for you. If it doesn't work out the first time, stay persistent. Don't worry about the checks. Don't worry about the endorsements. Just do your job. Find a place where you can thrive, and he did that.
Cody Worsham, he's the digital media reporter over at LSU Sports. Nearly 30 minutes with us here on the Undisclosed Location. We appreciate the insight. Speaking of COVID and how changes happen on college campuses, you guys are the class of digital media within college sports. I know you've had a lot of personnel turnover within that department, and now with hopefully the COVID, the major part of the pandemic behind you guys, what's coming up new?
The first new thing is a new podcast. It's add a third podcast to the staple. Podcasts are fun, man. I love podcasts. I'm a digital audio addict. It's podcast is called Tigers Win. It's going to be an all sports sort of podcast. And it's going to be less about, Hey Fighting Podcast Boot Up are much more like game to game, week to week, current events. This is going to be more of a big picture sort of look at what makes our students, our student athletes, our coaches, our staff excellent. And so you can kind of pick, routines, habits,
Standard of
mindsets.
performance.
Yeah, the LSU standard of performance. There you go, very on brand. But the things that make LSU coaches great and players great, and how you can apply it to your life and what you do professionally, what I do in digital media, because so much of what we did, you mentioned the digital media stuff, so much of what we did, especially in 2019, was a product of the culture in that building that year. There was just a high standard there. So it's going to be that. And we're also, while we're on YouTube, we're going to be branching out some of the podcast stuff into YouTube as well.
Whoa, man. Whoa. Hey.
Symbiotic relationship. Symbiotic.
That's right.
LSU fans can't get enough content.
That's
so
right.
they'll listen to you guys in the morning, and then we'll do our thing in the afternoons.
You know this better than anybody. I mean, you've seen media from a pen, you've seen media from a microphone, you've seen media from a camera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're transitioning into this model.
Yeah, and like I love writing. That's my background. I love to write. Two things about writing. One, it takes a really long time to write a good story. Like it takes forever.
No, absolutely.
That's Joe?
Yeah, that's Joe. Like took years off my life, right? 10,000 words will do that to you.
Right.
But I love writing. But when your time is crunched and you're doing multiple jobs, there's beauty in just being able to sit down with somebody for an hour and just talk, and it's raw and it's authentic, and you learn something from it. And then the other thing is that people don't have time to read 10,000 word stories all the time.
Amen. Yeah.
So they can make time for That's Joe maybe, but they're not going to sit down and read all the time.
Being out in the job market, I've realized more people want video resumes than they want written resumes because they can pull it up on their phone, they can watch it in their car.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of it's the way of which we've settled into.
Yep. And so it's easier on both ends. And so we're leaning into that. We've got a great video team. Matt Tornquist and Emily
The goat.
Dixon are doing.
Matt is the best.
Yeah, Matt and Emily are doing a great job. Sort of taking what we did in 2019 for football, scaling it to some other sports. We've made some great hires. In the video department. So we've got a lot of talent over there. I think like everybody in the world right now, we're all probably a little bit overworked and overstretched just because that's the economy right now. But that's also exciting too because it makes you better, and it makes you it dials up the pressure, and I think everyone understands that at LSU. Like when you're at LSU, no matter if you're the football coach, if you're the digital media reporter, if you're the taking tickets outside the stadium, you want to be the best at what you do, and so. It helps having guys like Matt and people like Emily Dixon who hold you to high standard. Brandon Barry over in social. We just got a good team over there, and so we're doing some new things there. Podcast. We got some new video stuff that we're gonna be launching soon. I think y'all probably saw a taste of it. The state of football thing that with the Super Bowl that'll be expanded. So we've got some good content plans for the spring, and hopefully by the fall we're all celebrating 102,000 people in Tiger Stadium, and things are back to normal.
Amen.
A Parkview Baptist Hall of Famer and a great friend of
Takes
our
one
show.
to know one.
Absolutely. Cody Worsham here at the Undisclosed Location. Thanks for coming out. Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. We'll be back with Megan Makin Money right here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. The Jordy Culotta Show is powered every day by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com, located in LaPlace, Louisiana, with the greatest selections of new and used Chevrolet vehicle inventory over in LaPlace. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show here on YouTube, as we are presented every day by Go Chevrolet.
Whoa.
A lot of rain, a lot of AC.
I think that's
dig
the
it.
AC.
Yeah, I dig the vibe.
Welcome back here to the Undisclosed Location. Very appreciative of Cody Worsham and his time.
Wow.
Yes.
30 minutes in studio, giving us insight on LSU basketball, LSU baseball, LSU football.
Touched them all.
He did, man, and went in depth and gave very good. And I love.
It did not feel like 30 minutes.
I love.
Yeah.
I love this conversation about the digital department, where they're going here into the future. Megan Makin Money is a Thursday staple here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We're daily. We're brought to you by AdvantaClean. Remember, ADVANTA clean.com. If you wake up and feel water on the carpet, if you wake up and smell fire or smoke, or you see mold around the house, water, fire, or mold, AdvantaClean is who you get in touch with. Online at AdvantaClean.com. Our friend Bradley Lynch can help you. One-stop shop. We'll work directly with the insurance company. Do we need to turn that off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry over there.
They're sweating me out over here. Really in the Copa, dude.
Sorry, Brad.
You want to be in the gang?
Sorry, that's so loud.
But it is too loud. All right. I am very discouraged about my computer. It is not turning on. Megan Makin Money is with us here on this Thursday edition. Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
I am wonderful. How are y'all?
I'm doing good. What was the outcome on the Super Bowl? Did you tell us KC last week?
Yeah, I did. I told everybody. I know. I know. I'll be the first to say, look, I was blinded by the light that is Patrick Mahomes. I can't lie. I've looked past all the O-line issues, which were obviously the biggest part of the game. He was just so uncomfortable. He looked just out of sync from the jump. But, credit to Tampa and Todd Bowles. They literally were calling their shot all week. And what's crazy to me is, how they were doing damage with just rushing four. But, that's what won the Giants their Super Bowl. But, yeah, I suck. I picked Kansas City, but I also am a gambler, so I hedged out of it. And I managed to be okay.
Any props land for you?
Honestly, after I started to hedge out of all of my Kansas City straight bets and spreads, and I decided to take my prop bet board down, throw it away, and just
start from scratch.
Just one of them days.
Yeah, me and my husband and I just decided to just sit back and get drunk instead. So that's what
It's a hell of a Super Bowl Sunday.
Fine.
I love that. So where does a professional gambler go from here now that the Super Bowl is behind us? Where do you start looking?
I've been playing some college basketball. I've been looking more like mid-major schools just because I feel like, the line makers aren't looking and aren't as sharp on those smaller schools. Obviously, you got a big game today with Purdue and Minnesota, and it's hard to look at that line, and it's just those lines. Well, I do, enjoy watching those games. Are hell of a lot more entertaining than these small schools.
Sure.
I don't see very much value there until it gets, especially Big Ten teams. They're swapping games constantly. So yeah, I've been playing some college basketball. I've been trying to do some sharp shooting. I had a 2-in-1 day, not yesterday, but the day before. Yesterday I gave out VMI, but I got them at a bad line, so I got them at +1. They ended up losing by 2, but a lot of people got the +2 or the +2.5. So that was a winner for some folks.
Do you play the NBA at all?
I don't. I do enjoy watching the NBA, but I have tried to bet it, and occasionally I'll get lucky. But I can, for whatever reason, I cannot get a grasp gambling wise on the NBA. I just think that it's more of an entertaining sport for me personally. I like the also, there's basketball wives and all that. So there's 1,000 different elements to that where I like the drama to see what's happening on the court and how it coincides with their husbands and or boyfriends or side boyfriends, whatever, all the good things.
That's right. Larsa Pippen.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Perfect example. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Kind of. Megan Money joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every day by Go Chevrolet. You heard about our great promotion that we were doing with our giveaway for Valentine's Day, and you wanted to talk a little bit about this.
You asked the question. Jordy wanted me to ask you that question, but then he asked the question. You got a bad date going on.
Oh yeah, that was listening yesterday, and it was super funny. So I remember, I think you're pretty familiar with the Starkville area.
Yes.
I may have went to school up there for a couple of months, but
I don't know if I knew that. Did I know that?
Yeah, I don't know. I went up
sounds
there.
like you hadn't told a lot of people about this, Megan.
What's going on, Megan?
Oh, in and out. Quick visit.
Lived in the Twin Towers. I was over at Crestwell. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on. It was kind of a revenge date, so to speak. This guy.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
This guy used to
Frat
bring
brother's
me
frat brother.
Oh my God, that's funny. This guy that I used to date that was a Pike. He used to love to bring me to Stromboli's, and I love Stromboli's.
Oh, me too.
And yeah, and so anyway, he broke up with me he just stopped talking to me because that's just what bros do.
That's what college guys do, Ugh.
Yeah, it's whatever. So then I decided to accept a date from the neighboring KA house, and they're like, "Well, where do you want to go?" And I was like,
"The Pike House."
Stromboli's.
And so he was like, "All right, like I'll meet you there this time, whatever." And so I went there and I got stood up, and this is the only time I've ever been stood up on a date. And so I was sitting there waiting, and I was so sad, and I didn't want anyone to see me cry, obviously. And so I ordered a pizza, but then realized all I had on me was like my charge card for the union. And so I had to call my poor dad, and I was like, "Dad, I got stood up, and I need your credit card number to pay for this buffalo chicken pizza."
Oh,
so that one was.
That's not a great date.
No, that one's not good at all.
The people at Stromboli's are probably nice enough. You probably could have just told them what was going down, and they probably would be like, "Here's another pizza for you."
They probably would have. So I absolutely loved that place for the little bit of time that I spent up there. So yeah, that one was a good. I got some other ones that are a little funny, but that one's probably my best one, just because it's the most memorable.
No, so basically, moral of the story is that we are protesting KAs, all KAs.
Megan, do you really put buffalo chicken on your pizza?
Well, at Stromboli's there was a specific one that was buffalo. It was a buffalo chicken pizza. Like the sauce was buffalo sauce, and it was like mozzarella, and I didn't like the blue cheese on it, so I didn't.
Sounds good to me.
You're combining wings and pizza.
Exactly. It was just like, I mean, if you might have.
Jordy's not into it, but that sounds delicious to me.
I really want.
If you were partaking in college activities, a buffalo chicken pizza sounds absolutely fantastic.
I agree.
Megan, tell them what's coming up on FanDuel.
I mean, we got a lot of great stuff. We always got our same game parlays that are going to be using for NBA now, which I might do a couple of those here and there because those are super fun, and you don't have to pick a side. You can pick all prop bets. I just gave out Weber State for college basketball. I got them at -1. The line is now +1. I put it in. The line locked on me, and I was like, crap, what's going on? I was hoping that it would open back up the same, but it opened up Weber +1. But Weber has been a absolute cover machine. I'm riding that hot hand. Montana is probably one of the better teams that they've played here, but I'm going to ride that one. I also gave out Fresno State -4.5. That one's moved in. My favorite's moved to 5. But they're playing the Air Force, and I'm fading the Air Force, not the good people of the Air Force, but just basketball.
They got the responsibilities. Don't worry about basketball.
That's right.
I want to throw that out there. I'm definitely not fading the defenders of our country. I'm poor. But the Air Force is ranked dead last in adjusted defense, effective field goal percentage, defensive rebound rate, and they also have turned it over more than anybody else offensively. So I feel like Fresno State could be literal bulldogs, and I would probably still put my money on Fresno State. So yeah, I gave out that one, and that's what's happening for me at FanDuel. But if you go and check out my profile or check out anybody else's from FanDuel, you'll get constant bets from us, because I haven't gone a day without betting, and I don't know how long, if I'm going to be honest.
Megan Makin Money. She is a true degenerate. She is on Twitter at Megan Makin Money, and every Thursday you can hear her right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. She is a part of FanDuel. Is it raining in Acadiana? Because it is storming in Baton Rouge.
It is disgusting here. Y'all ready for snow on Monday?
Ugh, gross.
No, we hate cold over here. We hate being cold.
I hate cold too. My son's like, Mom, the low is 18. It's going to snow. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You're going to school, kid. Meg, have a great day. No, go ahead.
Everything's gonna shut down. Everybody's about to go buy out all the bread and the water.
I know.
Toilet paper.
There's
That's
not
right.
even an inch of snow, and people are freaking out.
Right.
But people can't drive. People cannot drive in this.
that's true.
They suck.
They cannot.
Megan, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
All right, y'all too.
See ya.
Bye.
There she is, Megan Makin Money. Who knew she went to Mississippi State?
I don't think I knew that. I'm sorry, Megan, if I did, but I don't think I did.
I don't think I've ever
She
heard
sounds like
her
she was
talk
only
about
there
that.
for like 3 months.
Got stood up and bounced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peace out,
People,
Starkville.
These ain't my people.
You're getting a lot of I can't believe you don't think that buffalo chicken pizza sounds good. Everybody in the Copa is in.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of on your side here. I'd like my pizza to be pizza. You
no,
know?
look, and I'm not
like an
disagreeing.
Italian
It's
pizza
good.
pie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna choose buffalo chicken pizza as like my top tier choice. But if someone had it and offered it to me, I wouldn't be like, ugh.
I will
Right.
say, correct me if this is weird, but chicken is my favorite pizza topping.
Nope.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
that's weird.
That's
weird.
weird.
It's weird.
Why is it weird?
That's weird.
Why is it weird?
Weird.
Like, I mean,
Just
like,
make a sandwich.
first choice, you're
Chicken.
ordering chicken.
Let's
want
go around the
chicken.
room.
No,
Favorite
bro.
topping.
Oh, pepperoni.
Lloyd, pepperoni,
Yeah.
Italian sausage.
Pepperoni and ground meat. Could be
Yeah,
could
little
be
pieces.
Italian
Yeah.
sausage.
Chicken.
Chicken. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
okay.
chicken.
Odd man out.
That's all right.
Your
But if you threw
questions-
some buffalo sauce on it, I might be
Okay,
there
then you're
for it.
then you're on my side.
Oh, Nikki, I know that I've had your laptop, so I haven't been able to help with the questions.
I've taken some of them down.
Okay, good. Ask the Jordy Culotta Show. Roman Banks going to stop by the undisclosed location. If he can make it through the moat going to be flooding this morning,
know.
boys and girl. Rivs, yes. Who is this girl?
Who is this woman?
We're answering your questions next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. When you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, you shouldn't have to settle for the same old medical treatment. You got a choice, and the choice is simple. Choose Metropolitan Health Group. For all your personal injury needs, real doctors and real solutions to help you get back on the road to recovery. Metropolitan Health Group. The next time you're in the market for a custom home, remember Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders.com. If you want testimonies or pictures of the fantastic work, check them out online or on social media. Their handle is at RMB Builders LLC. They're licensed for both commercial and residential construction, offering new construction and remodeling to Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. Remember RMB Builders online at rmb-builders.com.
Hey, this is Katie with the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate everyone's support. If you want in, email me at katie@jordyculottaShow.com.
Go Chevrolet. Lee Carney and Nick Richard opened up their new dealership on Airline Highway in LaPlace, Louisiana, and they bring you the Jordy Culotta Show every single day. Stop in and see Lee and Nick today in LaPlace, Louisiana when you're looking for a brand new Chevrolet or used car inventory. You can shop it all online at GEAUX.Chevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet, Airline Highway in LaPlace. Make sure and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We're there. Daily brought to you by RMB Builders. Shout out to Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. RMB-Builders.com. Get to the Jordy Culotta Show podcast. Daily brought to you by RMB Builders.
Remember to follow the Jordy Culotta Show on social media. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Culotta Show and on Facebook, facebook.com/Culotta Show.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show on YouTube, presented daily by Lanoix Insurance, LANOIX agency.com. Get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David today. They can help you out with your auto insurance, home insurance, business insurance, flood insurance on a day like today.
Goodness.
We're in a flood zone over here at the Undisclosed Location. We got our fingers crossed.
The moat's coming up.
It is coming down in South Louisiana. We just talked to Megan Makin Money. We spent 30 minutes with Cody Worsham in hour number 1. All of that today's podcast available to you, brought to you by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew. Get in touch with them at 921-7062 or online at rmb-builders.com. We froze?
I don't know. Are we frozen?
We're frozen.
Uh-oh. Let's switch cameras and see what happens.
Your questions each day here on the Jordy Culotta Show, as we get them answered. How are we looking over there?
We have a couple, just a few reminders. If you haven't already, yeah. Turn it off, turn it back on. Yep. Let us know when you can hear us again.
And then I can plug my wonderful merch.
No sound, no sound, no
We're
sound.
seeing it.
We're back, we're
seeing
back,
it.
we're
We
back.
see you.
We're seeing it.
Hello, hello. People are talking a lot about pizza in the Copa, making me very hungry.
Yeah,
I didn't think that would be a
pizza
very
really bad.
conversational topic.
I
you
don't
know?
know.
Yeah.
Maybe just because I'm
Topics
hungry.
of the toppings, yeah. I mean, it's
No
Not
sound,
very
no
hard to
sound. We're
tell.
It's
back.
back.
We're
All right.
back. Hey.
As I was saying, get the family looking suave in some Jordy Culotta Show merch at jordy.itemorder.com.
All right, let's get into some of these questions.
Yep.
All right. Can you guys get Jay Clark on tomorrow? Big meet tomorrow, number 1 versus number 2.
LSU Gymnastics? Hell yeah, we can.
We're all in on LSU
We
Gymnastics
absolutely
now.
will get on LSU Gymnastics, for sure. One of the sports that we can get in on over there.
Yes, yes. Well, we'd like to get in on all the sports. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I know beach volleyball was a thing we talked about some, but softball has gotten ramped
Absolutely.
up, the whole thing. Kyle Russo, how do you feel about Hyatt starting in the starting 5 with ability to stretch the floor? Also has a lot of experience from having to play a lot last year.
I loved Hyatt last night. I mean, you heard Cody Worsham talk about it. Some of the plays that he made, he's a smart player. I mean, the back cut that he made in the second half, some of his ways that maybe go unseen, the way that he spaces the floor, the shots that he takes. I like Hyatt in roles. Last night, Mwani Wilkinson was out, so he got to start there. But I would anticipate Hyatt's minutes increasing just because of how intelligent of a basketball player he is. He's a very good player. But I think his smarts, I mean, you can just tell by the way he moves, the way that he cuts, that second half back cut that he caught in a easy little reverse layup. I mean, he set that whole thing up. I mean, just by the way that he ran the defender towards the baseline or the sideline and then cut him on the baseline. A great pass by Javante. I thought it was a good plug and play last night into the starting lineup for Hyatt, and it paid dividends for LSU basketball.
Ultra Raider in the Copa. How are we feeling about that?
With the
Italian
wonderful
vibes.
music.
Yeah.
Lloyd is killing it with the
Ultra
music.
Raider in the Copa. Currently having hamburger pizza with pickles for breakfast. You know what? I'm not willing to follow you down that road.
It's an interesting way to start the day.
Not
That is
willing
disgusting.
to at any time. I'm not willing at any time of day to follow you down that road,
sounds-
especially not 8:22
You
a.m.
gotta have nothing on the docket. Like,
That sounds horrible.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Seville Jr. Is takeout Valentine's Day dinner still romantic? Asking for me. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
At this
Depends
point,
on
though,
the setup at the house,
I was
right?
going to say
Yeah.
that the least romantic thing that I think in my life currently that could happen is Kevin be like, I need you to get all dressed up and let's go somewhere. I'm tired.
And it's not the same, you know. When
You know
go
what I
out
want to
there-
do? I want you to go get me Little Caesars and a bottle of wine, and I want to lay in bed, you know, and watch whatever I want to watch.
Happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day. Give me some Taco Bell. I don't know.
Valentine's
Like, what
Day.
are we doing here?
Bring the Mexican pizza back, for God's sake.
Oh man,
we're talking about pizza.
Don't get me wrong, and that's not to say I don't like to dress up and go out and do the nice thing. I do. It is, but
Once every 3 months.
right now, like Friday night, we went to Beau Soleil, but it was like Friday afternoon. I was like, you know what? Like, we need to get out of this house. I got the babysitter. I did the thing. I was like, Kevin, we're going to dinner. And you know what? It was wonderful. Like, the food was great.
Did y'all talk about the kids the whole time?
We didn't, but the whole time, like halfway through, I was like, "Oh man, I'm so tired."
Yeah.
Like,
Check.
what
Let's
I
get
would
the hell outta here.
give to be laying in bed right
Right.
now,
Right.
you know?
Right.
I mean, and it wasn't no fault of Beau Soleil. Like, it was
Sure.
it was wonderful. The
They
food
did their
was
job.
great.
Yeah,
yes.
you're just old.
Yes,
You're
I'm just
old with kids.
tired.
Yes.
Oof, man.
Embrace it.
'Cause I really felt it. But yes, takeout Valentine's Day dinner is very romantic.
I always thought it was a liberating moment when you got to the place, the headspace, that you just don't give a F about being here, being there. And once you lose that FOMO, once you lose that...
I have lost it.
It's
I gotta
liberating.
be there. It is very liberating. Like, we're here, we're partying, you're missing it. Like, bro, it's all good. I'm
Sounds like y'all are missing me.
No, look, Kevin has
right.
always lived that way,
Yeah, I
and
can see
I have
that. I
recently
can see that.
gotten there.
I
He's
can
like,
see that.
he's got fear of being invited. You know, like he like doesn't want to go to a
F-boy.
yeah, like he doesn't want to be invited. You know, so
Golly, me and Kev, we have so much in common.
And the Larry David, like, I hope they
Yes.
just don't let me know.
Damn it, now I know.
so yeah, I'm getting there though. I'm getting to the place where I just don't really care if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
left out or if I'm not there.
Do you love it?
I do.
Yeah,
It
it is
feels
a great place.
It's like a weight lifted off
It
your
is.
shoulder.
Yeah, it absolutely
you
is.
know? Unless it's our happy hour today.
At Mansers. We're going to be there about 3:30 this afternoon. You're kind of dipping in, dipping out.
Yeah,
Katie's kind of dipping in,
Kevin's
dipping
working
out.
from home today, so although
oh.
the rain has got me
Yeah.
feeling
Is
like...
this all day?
Huh?
Is this all
I
day?
don't know.
The rain?
I'm not sure.
The rain.
Ugh, I don't
Is it?
know.
I think he's trying to get it all out the way now.
I
It
hope so.
sounds like.
I hope so.
But the rain's supposed to be bringing the cold, which I don't know which I'd rather. I really don't. I don't know if I'd rather having.
And it's gonna be so. This is my deal with cold. I don't mind cold necessarily. Like, you take me to a place like Colorado, that kind of snow,
Well, I
that
know
kind
I'm
of
signing
cold.
up for it.
I don't mind. Well, but it's not even the signing up. It's a different kind of cold. It is a dry cold. Like, you'll see people walking around at ski resorts in shorts. It is a dry cold. It's warmer. The snow is so packed. It's just there. Our cold is wet. It's humid here. It's like everything's melting around you, and it's like sticky.
Just gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
And I've always said, man, we're all from the South. This part of the room from South Louisiana. You're from Southern Mississippi. I mean, so
Or Northeast.
Central
I'm
Mississippi.
from the southern part of the United States.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be July 18th every day.
Oh, we're built for
yeah,
it.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
built
I know.
for it.
We're built for warm.
120
That's what my body's
degrees
built
and
for,
humidity.
yeah.
That humidity, that's fine.
We are built for warmth.
I don't care about that. But as soon as it drops below 40, bro, I am.
You're
you don't-
out.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't want
40 is
me-
the number.
You don't want me a part of the crew.
Okay, let's see. Will Edwards wants to know, who are your surprise teams in college basketball this year?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee would be a
I
little
was
surprising.
hoping Mississippi State. We can leave them out. I
this-
loved hearing Megan's bets. She was just naming off teams. Weaver State.
Weaver State.
What are we
Is that a
doing,
gambler?
Megan?
Is that a gambler?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a fading the Air Force in basketball.
To be clear, I am
bro,
not fading.
That is a degenerate right there.
They can't be any
What
good.
the hell do you know about Air Force
Money against the
basketball?
spread, Rivers. They've been money against the
What are
spread.
we doing, Weaver
What
State?
channel is that on?
I mean, Lord, where do I find Air Force basketball on a Thursday night? I would say I am a little surprised. The college basketball world may not be surprised, but I am surprised at how good Gonzaga is.
Yeah.
Like
I almost
they
wore my
are-
Gonzaga shirt today.
Riz.
That's wild.
It is Gonzaga and everybody else in college basketball. If Mark Few doesn't win it with this team, I don't know
But are
when
you
he will be set up.
surprised? Gonzaga's never surprising when they're good.
No, they're not surprising when they're good in the tournament because you
Yeah.
expect them to kind of, but they are like dominant.
Like doing it.
This is their best team
pre-tournament.
they've ever had. They got 3 pros on this team.
Yeah.
I mean, they usually kind of beat you with guys that, yeah, okay, like Gonzaga, look out for the little guy.
Right. Wait for tournament time.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Gonzaga looks like Kentucky. They look like the AD Kentucky team. I mean, they are dominant. And Baylor's, Baylor's good. I believe it's Gonzaga, Baylor, and then kind of everybody else. But I think even in those two, in that tier of Gonzaga and Baylor, that Gonzaga is that much better than them. Like I think if Gonzaga plays their best, they can maybe beat a G League team.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They have 3 bona fide pros. Like, we'll make a lot of money to play basketball.
Especially in this year when there's not really that standout guy. So if you got 3 of straight up pros.
Exactly.
So
And
Also, listeners, be on standby. We will be doing something. We were talking about the tournament earlier. We will be doing something for the tournament.
March Madness.
Yeah.
March Madness. That's where I feel like I shine. That's when I really start to pay attention to basketball teams. You know, like Gonzaga. You know, like probably having, or maybe Weaver State. I don't know.
if they make it.
We'll see. All right, next question. Let's see. This is a kind of a weirdly worded question, so I'm just going to read it as it is. Tons of talent, the QB room, and weekend starters. I like the arm talent on LSU's campus. Maybe the best ever? There's the question. Here's your mic on.
Oh, my bad.
The best ever for me was 06 with Perilou Flynn and Jamarcus. There also was a quarterback room with Josh Booty, Craig Nall, and Rohan Davey. When I was coming up, I believe that was 1998. That was a great
And
room.
Matt Mock was around there too.
Matt Mock was 2001.
And that's what we're frozen on.
Oh, this camera, dude. This camera.
Look at my face.
Starkville sniper.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Yes. But I do think that this quarterback room is the best they've had since 2006. It's the best they've had in a while.
You got options.
Yes, you got options. Here's our next guest calling.
Yes.
Let's take a break and we'll come back and talk to Roman Banks, Southern Athletic Director. The Jordy Culotta Show is powered every day by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com, located in LaPlace, Louisiana, with the greatest selections of new and used Chevrolet vehicle inventory. Over in LaPlace at Go Chevrolet, they have the latest models in stock. They provide financial assistance to both new and used car customers. Stop in today. It's a convenient NOIXagency.com, helping you today with Baton Rouge auto insurance, home insurance, flood insurance, or business insurance. Get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David, 749-5640, or you can shop them online at LANOIXagency.com. This is a personal testimony from me. They handle all of my insurance, whether it's my home, auto, flood insurance, business insurance. They're the best, man. They're my insurance agent, but they're my friends first. Online at LANOIXagency.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, live on YouTube, presented by Go Chevrolet. Our next guest, a great friend, and comes bearing gifts. We appreciate that. Please welcome in former head basketball coach and current athletics director at Southern University, the man, the myth, the legend. Drives over in the rain. You can remove the
I can remove.
Yes, sir. Do not tell anybody.
Where am I?
Literally, right? I think the text messages 2 minutes ago was like, "Where the hell am I, bro? Come get me." Here you go, Coach.
Thank you.
Great to see you, man.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
It is going good, man. It is going good. You good there?
I'm good.
Let's
Thank
see.
you.
Look.
Good. Can you hear me?
Rivs, help him with this microphone here. Roman Banks, who is the athletic director and former head basketball coach at Southern University. Times right now crazy in the world of sports. COVID. Yep, there we go. You don't need the headphones though, Coach. If you want them, you can wear them. So tell me, I guess we can start with everything and where you've been. Look, if you want to just flip that can back the other way.
Yeah, I'm all twisted up.
Didn't know we're giving him a pop quiz.
Y'all got me all lost in here. I'm trying to figure out
Who's the educator?
I'm trying to figure out where I'm at around this place here.
You lost in the sauce.
All right, let's
There
roll
he
now.
is.
I feel a lot better now.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Go Chevrolet brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. Lee Carney, a good friend of ours.
Good friend.
Absolutely. Tell me about the last year and what it's been like to be a athletics director at the division at the college level, like you guys are, with everything that you've been dealing with.
Well, I can describe it as a lot of uncertainty. It's this past year dealing with this pandemic has, it's one thing after another, and things are constantly changing. And really, I think that we was part of a study trying to figure out how we survive through these times. Obviously, the financial impact was great. Trying to figure out how you keep this department running, how you keep your coaches in place, from all the way from scholarships, do we have to petition the NCAA about scholarships because of the budget's not turning over right, the way you project it. And so it's almost like driving down the highway and 18-wheeler come, you don't see it and just knock you over. And so it's been challenging, but we have a great administration. The president has been great. Our board of supervisors really understand the challenges that we have. Our coaches, I think, have done an excellent job teaming up and trying to navigate through this situation. And we try to be honest with our student athletes, who in return, I think, have done a remarkable job of taking leadership as it relates to what we ask them to do through this pandemic.
Football season is coming up.
Yes. Unusual.
Right. What in preparation? How is that? How chaotic and now how organized is it going in?
Yeah. So that's unusual to be playing football during these times, but our conference came together, and obviously I need to give a shout out to our commissioner, Charles McCullen, who I think has navigated very well as the leader of this Southwest Athletic Conference, pulling all the athletic directors and presidents together to come up with a plan that's sustainable. And I think we're thankful for his leadership. And so we all voted as a body, to move all our sports to the spring. Mm-hmm. And I think that was something that, for a school of our size and the level that we are, I think that was the smartest move we could have made. Because look, we know the more money that you have available to you, you can throw resources at this pandemic. We know that our financials was limited, and so we needed to rely on medicines, science, doctors to provide information so we can know how to navigate. We need to know some information going into, not learn as we go. Mm-hmm. And we don't have the ability, for instance, to cancel a game and fly out somewhere else the next day to make a game up. And so, and also we wanted to make sure when we made decisions that we understood it enough that we can protect our student athletes as it relates to testing, being able to test on a regular basis. I think that's one of the key ingredients for us. And so moving our sports, particularly football, to the spring to give ourselves a chance to understand what's going on, and now we can get out there on the field and showcase our student athletes, I think was the best decision that we could ever make.
Do you have any idea what the lasting impact of the last year will have on your program and sports in general?
Oh, yeah. I think that, that we're constantly be learning, but from a financial impact, it's probably about a third of our budget.
Wow.
And so we know that even going into next season, great things have to happen. Hopefully, I look at it a lot of times, the universities I hear as it relates to, and I try to follow the financial packages that the federal government going to be helping higher education. But a lot of those dollars are restricted, that it can't be used for athletics. And so how do we recoup lost revenue if our revenue line was $3 million and we don't get a chance to provide that service to our season ticket holders and patrons to get that $3 million back?
Who answers that question?
Well, I guess at the end of the day, that's part of my question and our finance and the president. And I said,
do you take that to shouldn't you have to take that to someone to answer that? I mean, you don't have that answer.
No, I don't have that answer, but I will say, once again, that's why I say that my president and administration are working hard, and even our president of our board of supervisors have engaged Washington, D.C. to try to find these answers. And so we are hoping that some relief will, like it comes to the institution, because these are students as well. And, you'll be able to use stimulus dollars for scholarships and stuff like that. Well, will we be able to use those for relief for our student athletes? Just because they play sports don't mean that they are set alone. That we still have a responsibility to them, just like the university have a responsibility to all students. And so these are some important factors going forward. But surely, with help or without help, we are hoping that we have a great season in 21, the fall of 21, and then roll right into 22. So we think that this is going to have impact on us for the next couple of years until we're able to catch back up.
Your basketball team is up and playing, and what has it been like for sports that are operating, the practices and everything, the organization that goes into that?
So you shut down for 14 days, you're back on.
Right.
You're on your way to a basketball game, and you call and tell them turn the bus around because the testing protocol didn't
2
go.
weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yeah, so it's really been, and that's the reason why I think these coaches have done a remarkable job, because right now, I tell them, we talk about all the time, I say you prepare everybody because you don't know who you're going to have. And so this has been a musical chairs. And so, fortunately, we played 2 games in a row this week. So hopefully we on to our third one.
We were talking about your Jackson State game. Yeah. I've never seen that. You coached basketball for a long time. You've got rings and success for days. Have you ever seen a player take his shirt, take his top off on the court, drop it, and walk off?
Nah, well, I might have been involved in one of those cases before, to be totally honest with you. Right. So, those are unusual cases, and you hope that you can keep everything in a locker room and not in front of everyone. But emotions run high, and, sometimes, some of our student athletes, as well as our coaches, challenging them through tough times, and they don't respond well, and maybe it's best that you say, okay, you just go in the locker room, but you're hoping they can sit on the end of the bench and get their attitude together. But if not, then you have to do something so they won't negatively impact the team.
We were talking about LSU baseball getting going on February 19th. You got a new head baseball coach in Chris Crenshaw.
Yes.
How's that transition been? And I know it's a very prideful program that's looking ready to get back on the diamond.
Yeah, so Crenshaw, we just thought it was time for him to get his opportunity. When we brought him in as assistant coach, he has a lot of Southern University history, played in the program. His father played, his uncle played. He worked under, this short period of time on one of our final coaches that ever coached our game next to Coach Kadar as well. He played under Coach Kadar. So he had a lot of what I look for, a lot of relationships was inside the program as well. And watching him from afar, he has really handled himself well. And so, I look at myself, until you get the opportunity, you never know. And I like to be one that try to give people the opportunity. I know a lot of people like to go out and get seasoned people in place, but I think sometimes it depends on your situation. And during COVID, he recruited most of these guys. He had a relationship with these guys. And so we just thought it was important. Not everything has been changing so much for the student athletes. at least we can lock them in with a warm body that they're familiar with. And I do think that he'll go on and be successful.
Crenshaw is a new face, or at least an assistant face, elevated to the head coaching role. Your football program has a staple and such a well-respected guy in Dawson Odoms. What is the expectation for him, and what's the relationship like with you and your head coach?
Well, start off with the relationship. I think the relationship is well. I think, all my head coaches and trigger down to the assistant coaches in our athletic department, I use the motto that we are family and we look after one another. And we also have serious conversation. And I think head coach understand their role in this athletic department. And obviously he has a huge role being a football coach, one of the top programs, especially at the university and in the state of Louisiana, and probably one of the signature programs among historical black colleges. And so, I expect, and this is always in my conversation, I expect for Southern University coaches to be in the top 2 or 3 every year. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like if you're in the top 2 or 3 every year, then there's a championship hovering around us somewhere in them 2 or 3 years if you're at the top. And when we have rebuilding years, I figure that our rebuilding years will be somewhere between the middle of the pack.
Right.
And so I don't never expect us to be at the bottom of the pack. And I think Coach Odoms understands that Southern has a lot of pride in his football program, and he's out the championship every year. And I think that he's done a remarkable job. I think he has one of the top winning percentages among our coaches in our conference, and he's always right there. Sometimes we always looking for to win the championship every time, but I think it's important that also that we be right there every year, because some teams never get the opportunity. And so I'm looking for the next several years to be a banner year for us. I think he has, went through this transition where when I heard this program, no spring practices, limited scholarships, limit practice times. And so it's really been challenging, and we remain right there at the top. And so now I think it's time for all of our sports and the expectations for us to go to another level and represent ourselves well for our alumni across this country and our students and friends of our program.
I know your focus is solely on Southern University, but you have a very invested interest into the SWAC, into your conference. I'm just curious, does it do anything that Deion Sanders is now in the league for you guys? Does it bring you any type of ancillary attention at Southern?
Well, I think it's been good, because it has caused the conference to get a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. And I think anytime, of a figure like that, or any way that the conference can get positive attention is good. And I think it's going to shine the light basically on our football programs even more, because people are going to really be zeroing in, because there's a Hall of Famer, a celebrity out there on the other sideline. And so I think it's been good for the conference, and I think that people will see that I think that our football program is right here, next to LSU, can compete second as it relates to pageantry and what the game brings to the institution. Our attendance is great. You better get there early or you won't be able to get on the bluff. And so I think it's going to bring a lot of attention and also showcase the coaches that we have on our sidelines.
How much are you guys looking forward? Because I know everybody on LSU side is looking forward to the matchup and what it could bring. Is that still in place, and what's that going to look like? I know that's going to be a really cool day in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, 22. So we just think, and when we start talking about this game, we were talking about the relationship. And basically everybody in the state of Louisiana have played LSU besides Grambling and Southern, and I think Nichols may be in that equation, and have played them several times. And so we work well together across the lines, our administration, athletic administration, and we communicate a lot. And we just thought it's time. Our student athletes always, we always engage in our student athletes in all our sports. They're asking, they see other schools come in, why why we don't have that opportunity. That never happened. And I'm one to want to break barriers anyway, and be the first to do some things. And so we just felt like that it was a good opportunity, especially during the climate which was going on around our country.
Sure.
To make this announcement and say, hey, we all come together, and we're gonna celebrate together, have a good time together, and we look forward. Our student athletes and coaches was excited about the game, and so we look forward to bringing both sides of town together. Programs that have a lot of pageantry and pride about tailgating and extracurricular activities, ancillary events around the game. We're looking forward to bringing all that together. So
put the human jukebox on the field, man. Let them perform. Let them perform.
It's gonna be great, and we expect to have some pre and post game activities with the bands going on. So I told the chief of police, he just make sure you have extra security, because if anybody want to rob a bank in Baton Rouge that day, they can, because everybody else gonna be at LSU.
Into a 3-mile radius right there in the middle of the city. What's the future of the Bayou Classic look like? What that is such a special game for so many people around the country.
It is, and once again, it's gonna look a little different this spring.
Sure.
And anytime Southern and Grambling play is considered the Bayou Classic. And so it's not a home or away contest.
Neutral field.
It's neutral field, and it's some policies circling around that game. And so we're going to Shreveport. Right now, 25%, you're talking about 10,000 people or less. And so right now, I look at it as
what a ticket.
Oh, yeah. Everybody can't get that ticket.
Man.
Look, we only have 3,000 tickets.
Wow.
The box office have about 3,000, and Grambling have about 3,000. And so you have to make sure, for us, as an example, that student athletes comp tickets for their parents and all that come out of that. And so it's not a true 3,000 tickets. And so we first, give our season ticket holders the opportunity to get tickets. And secondly, our students, those will be the first in the pool to get so many tickets. And then we have some other tiers. So I can let you know right now, all 3,000 tickets are gone.
Been gone. I'm sure, right? That's big.
Next year's are gone.
Yeah, right. I think about I-10, the weekend of the Bayou Classic. If you're going if you're just moving around Baton Rouge, it's nothing but Southern and Grambling flags flying down the interstate.
And the hopes will be that we playing 2 Bayou Classics in 1 year.
Right.
And so
the
plan will be back in November, back in New Orleans, where it's a true home of the Bayou Classic. But we're thankful for Shreveport for investing and taking such an interest in inviting us in. And hopefully, I tell everybody, go get your vaccine and let's test, because hopefully, by the time we get to April, that we're turning the corner and maybe we're going into another phase.
Sure.
And that 10,000 can go up to 20,000. And so that's our hopes.
Your brother is your brother runs the best basketball program in the state at Scotlandville. You were a dominant basketball coach when you were on the sideline. You're now an executive. Do you miss that part of it?
Sometimes.
I bet you do.
Sometimes I really do. Especially the good games. You really, it's just in you to want to compete, and sometimes you look at some games and it don't go your way, and sometimes you say, I wish I was out there at that time. But, right now, with that being said, Coach Woods, Kentucky Blue Blood, is doing a good job.
He is. He's doing a phenomenal job. And Lee Carney still speaks about those days at Southeastern when you were running him up and down the floor. And now he's running Ghost Chevrolet. But
I'm sure he's saying a lot more, too. You're just being nice right now.
That's for the air stories.
Yeah.
But you know what you mean to me, man. I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate you coming out here today.
Doubt.
Anytime we can promote the message for Southern University, we'd love to have some of your coaches on and invite them to the Undisclosed Location. We appreciate the helmet.
Let's try to get Coach O on here and talk about a little football.
We'd love that.
Okay.
We'd love that. It's great to see you. Have a good weekend.
Thank y'all for having me, even though I don't know where I'm at. I'm sure y'all gonna blindfold me.
There's a van outside.
I swear to oath, I don't know anything.
Roman Banks, athletics director at Southern University, good friend of our show. We'll be back and close it out. Have a great weekend,
All right,
Coach.
thank you.
Yes, sir. The Jordy Culotta Show is powered every day by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com, located in LaPlace, Louisiana, with the greatest selections of new and used Chevrolet vehicle inventory. Over in LaPlace at Go Chevrolet, they have the latest models in stock. They provide financial assistance to both new and used car customers. Stop in today. It's a convenient stop, whether you're going to New Orleans or coming from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. Stop in and see Lee Carney and Nick Richard at Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. If you have water, mold, or fire damage, you need to get in touch with Advana Clean today. I tell the story all the time. On Christmas Day, I woke up with what I thought was water damage in a room. I gave my friend Bradley Lynch a call at 225-369-5228. And on Christmas Day, 20 minutes later, Bradley was at the house diagnosing the problem, and he was back with his team to clean it up. Find out for yourself online at advanaclean.com.
That's advanaclean.com. ADVANTA clean.com.
Johnson and Spiller's Dentistry with 2 locations, one in Gonzales and one in Baton Rouge. Stop in to see them today. They provide the highest quality of dental treatment in a relaxed and professional atmosphere. They also offer Botox and teeth whitening. 2 locations, Baton Rouge and Gonzales, online at johnsonspillers.com. Lanois Agency, online at LANOIXagency.com, helping you today with Baton Rouge auto insurance, home insurance, flood insurance, or get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David, 749-5640, or you can shop them online at LANOIXagency.com. This is a personal testimony from me. They handle all of my insurance, whether it's my home, auto, flood insurance, business insurance. They're the best, man. They're my insurance agent, but they're my friends first. Online at LANOIXagency.com. The Jordy Culotta Show is powered every day by Go Chevrolet. Online at
Welcome back. Jordy just made sure that that Coach got in the van. We're all good. Just a reminder, if you haven't, hit the thumbs up button. Hit it if you want to. I don't want to force you, but if you like the show, if you keep checking it out, hit the thumbs up. It'll help us out. Also, make sure to check out our podcast brought to you by R&B Builders. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, if you can't catch the show live, you can always listen to our podcast.
Freaky story?
No, not a freaky story. I have a fun fact. Okay. So the video of Tom Brady. I said Brady weird just then. I don't know what I did. Walking drunkenly off of the boat. He's got the security guard. Not a security guard. He is his backup quarterback, Ryan Griffin, who graduated from Tulane.
Tulane.
Yep, that's old Ryan Griffin.
What a gig for Griff.
I'm sure Griffin's made that walk in New Orleans a couple of times. That's how you do it, Tom.
I'm going to steer you by your shoulders. Don't say a word. Keep your head up. Bounce it like
we got this.
Bounce it like Weekend at Bernie's, buddy. Just look alive. Look alive.
We're almost to the car. We're almost to the car.
Right. Keep it steady, bro. Keep it steady.
So
David
Ryan Griffin.
The crew are behind us.
Yep, fun fact.
Right, that's nice. Well, first off, Griffin's still in the league.
Yep,
which is good to hear. Did the Saints draft him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or did not draft? Did they pick him up as a free agent?
They picked him up as a free agent,
Yes.
and then they released him. They cut him in 2015, and then the Bucks picked him up.
Wow, what a gig!
He got to play whenever Jameis hurt his hand, and then
I mean, best job in the world, right?
Best
backup quarterback,
The best.
especially for Tom.
Give me
he ain't
Chase.
coming out.
Give me Chase Daniels' career.
Well, and I only know that because I was perusing Twitter, and Tulane football tweeted out something like, "Here's a picture of the greatest of all time quarterback, and the other guy's Tom Brady."
Nice.
So shout out Tulane football.
Yes, shout out to Banks and the crew down
Yeah.
at Tulane. We'd love to have Coach Willie Fritz on.
Yes.
At some point here,
great.
a great guest. We've also talked to Patrick Crawford down at the University of Louisiana Lafayette about getting Coach Billy Napier on. It was good to see their offensive line coach Rob Sale you see his job he got earlier this week? New York Giants hired
No big deal.
Rob Sale,
Wow.
the Cajuns offensive line, former LSU offensive lineman.
What's the deal with Napier? He just loves coaching that team.
I
mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm sure it's great coaching that team, but like,
No, it is.
he's gotten a lot of looks.
He has, and a lot of people
seems like
with,
he's
a lot
turning
of people,
it down.
A lot of people within the coaching industry say you can't let these ships just keep sailing,
Yeah,
right?
what are we doing? Is it just not the right one?
South Carolina wasn't the right one.
No.
That's what he
Mississippi
said.
State.
That wasn't
Mississippi
good.
State, he said, was not the right one. The Auburn job, it sounded like was moving towards a deal, and then either the alumni or the administrators said that they were going to tell him who he could hire. And Napier said, I'm out.
I'm out.
And
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
You're not a coach.
I don't
it's
know.
not your spot.
Yeah,
like,
right.
let me
I
pick my
don't-
squad.
I don't. Why would that would be such a awkward way to begin a relationship,
Right.
Yeah,
right? Like we
definitely.
started off at a weird place because you hired me and then told me I couldn't bring my people in or I couldn't bring the people that I wanted to work around. So I don't get that either.
You're just playing catch up relationship wise.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want him to bring in his people, don't hire him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's
We like you, but not everybody else you pick.
yeah.
So he's just there. I
think
feel like he's just there.
He's very much being patient. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like the Kirby Smart
But
thing.
there's a balance between
There
being,
is,
like you
where-
can't be too patient.
where the ship sails.
Yes. And
I'm
people
with
stop
you.
offering you the jobs.
I'm with you. Because I don't think that UL is leverage. I don't think that Lafayette is leverage. I
No.
think that he understands that he's got a formula.
Yeah.
But many people looked at this year's team like he came back because he believed it was going to be his best,
Right.
which it was. They beat Iowa State at the beginning of the season, got a ton of momentum riding in, get beat by Coastal Carolina, and then get the rematch of the conference championship washed out, which I got to say, from bowl season, I was looking forward to that game more than a lot of them. And to have that game COVIDed out 48 hours before kickoff and no chance to be rescheduled, that'll be one of those sports arguments that's never settled.
Right.
It'll never be settled.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Coastal Carolina beat the Cajuns by 3 or 2.
Coastal Carolina. Whew.
Bro, you know?
Running roughshod through Louisiana, just dealing it to us.
So I'm with you, though, Rivs.
Yeah. I'm
It's
just
a- it
curious.
is
I
a-
guess I just
it
didn't
is
know.
a-
Is there something like
It is
I'm
a
missing?
fine
Or
line.
yeah.
It is a fine line.
Well, we're almost to the end of the week, guys.
All right.
Wow.
All right. Everybody
We are
good?
finally actually at Thursday.
Yeah. It's Thursday.
14 shows in the can.
Isn't that wild? And then somebody said, Nookie, I think, we went a whole week without Lloyd.
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Back
How
in
the
the, in
hell?
the
How
fold,
the
dude.
hell
Doesn't feel like it.
No,
I mean, like,
yeah.
it's weird.
When I'm here, I'm here.
I don't remember you not being here.
That's right. How did we do that?
I guess Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike was
just
here.
Yeah.
Mike is holding it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did great. But I don't remember a time without Lloyd.
I know. It's been nuts.
Nice to be a part of the squad.
Thank
Just miss
you.
champagne. That's all I missed.
Thank you for supporting
It
and
was good.
interacting, and also Dr. Johnson, and Dr. Spillers for our Valentine's giveaway that
Yes.
we finalized yesterday. We should have some more promotion and more exciting things to announce, especially with March Madness coming up. Still some giveaways from Harper's Haberdashery that we will be shooting for.
Waiting for that fat face.
Just waiting on that fat face and that sticker, Sammy. I've been telling you that they have been in production now for 4 days working on this sticker.
Mona Lisa.
It's a Peloton or a treadmill 1 day a week, bro. But we'll be shooting for gift cards for Harper's Haberdashery coming up. We appreciate everybody's support and interaction on the show. Any more announcements before we get out of here?
Yeah, I
Rivs?
think that's it. You want to hit them with the merch one more time?
Yeah, guys, we want to be looking fly. We want to be looking smooth. Jordy.itemorder.com. Get your hoodies, get your quarter zips, get your kids some clothes. Jordy.itemorder.com.
Oh, and we got the Mansers thing also.
We also have the Mansers. We have a happy hour. It starts at 3:30. We're just going to be hanging out. Just an opportunity for you to come. Whoa, with the thunder.
Yeah.
Golly.
Thunder rolling. Garth Brooks up in here. Lost my train of thought. We're going to be in Mansers at 3:30. It's a chance for you just to come, hang out, grab a drink, meet us, see what we're all about. We're fun.
Yeah, put
We
a
think
face
we
to the
are.
I like to
name.
think so.
We like to think we're fun. So just come hang out with us.
All right, for the crew, Lloyd behind the camera, Nikki and Rivers here. I'm Jordy Culotta signing off. Go Chevrolet, Phil's Oyster Bar, Landwine Insurance, Advana Clean, RMB Builders, Harper's Haberdashery, and Metropolitan Health Group, and much more. We will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Y'all better have a good day.